step, go up a half step.
Okay, wow. So we've got a lot of stuff to cover, but first I want to show you how complete and how full this MIDI file is. If you look at it, it is a gigantic MIDI file, and this is what you're seeing here is all of the notes for this, and this isn't even the first half yet, and now we're on the really crazy part. All of this is going to be included with today. This is not going to be a cheap MIDI file, folks, because as you can see, this was, and let me tell you something about this MIDI file. Some people may say, I had to cheat a little bit. Okay, I had to cheat a little bit because I do have a form of perfect pitch, and I was having trouble recognizing, because of the movements of the chords, I was having trouble recognizing they were moving so fast that it was hard for me to kind of recognize it. So my perfect pitch, now when I use perfect pitch to transcribe, that means I'm a little bit slower, because what happens when you're doing perfect pitch is you have to identify the notes within the chords. So, you know, those of you who are saying, man, I wish I had perfect pitch, are you serious? Because perfect pitch means, perfect pitch, here's what my perfect pitch does. I hear a F, I hear a C, I hear a F and C, I hear a F sharp. See, that's what. Now, if I'm using relative pitch, I'm just gonna say that's a I don't know. That's just an F7. You see what I'm saying? Much faster. If I so I do all my transcriptions now using my relative pitch. I don't use perfect. But on this particular file, I was having to use perfect, which means that I was literally drawing in some of these notes, right? I wasn't playing them. I had to draw some of them in note by note. And to be honest with you, this MIDI file is not done. I'm going to have to go and fix it up using my ear to see if the chords match. So even from here, they may be a little bit different than by the time you get the MIDI file. But yeah, this was an extensive file. This song's been out for a little while. This song's been out for a little minute. When it first came out, it was a couple years ago. I would say about almost 7-8 years ago, was it? And I remember when he came out with it on YouTube, and everybody was like, what in the world? What kind of chords is he using? And it was one of his more popular ones. Let me filter it by the view count. Probably be up at the top somewhere. Yeah, this one. See, 9 years ago. Right? And then when he got to that section here, so this isn't his first time doing a song.
Kevin, drop me out the sky, drop me.
So here it comes. Oh, he's serving them greens now. Put some macaroni on it. Don't forget that chicken, folks. Oh, she want to get some chicken. He want to get some. They all want to come and eat a bite of that. But by the time he did it here, it was a little bit more refined here. See, by the time he did it here, it's a little bit cleaner. I don't know if you can tell. So it's a little bit cleaner in this version. little bit more mature. The chord's a little bit more mature, in my opinion. He's obviously, because he's progressed from that point to this point, right? So you're gonna hear a little bit of a little bit of a difference. So that's the reason I chose to do this one instead of the last one. But to be honest with you, the concepts are probably similar. The concepts are very similar. And they're probably the same. The one thing we do want to know though is that he's not just playing chords. You know that my big thing is always understand the context that he's going for. What is the context that he's using the chords within, and the context would be that he is using the E minor. I'm gonna start like I normally start. Try to be as simple as possible, and then we kind of progress a little bit. But he's going. And then the A flat, right? And then to that G flat, and then an F7, and the B flat 7, and then they repeat that. So the bass is doing this. And then do it again. And then now that's I'm just showing you that's the bottom line. That's the motif there. So that's the structure that is being followed. And what I want to do is examine when he gets to that A flat to the G, because when he does that, what he's doing melodically, and when he goes to this part, he does that a lot. And it's during that time when he's using certain chord voicings, and that's what I want to kind of examine, is that passage from the A flat, it's kind of like a 2-5-1 to the G flat there, the kind of chord voicings that he's using. But first, when he goes from the E flat minor to the B flat major 7, when he goes there, what exactly is he doing? So let me look at that. Let me examine it, because when he first starts it off, let me see if I can get that. No, I need it's before then. Right here. Right there. I want to examine that one first. So remember, he's got to go from the E flat to the B major 7, okay? So this is his beginning point, this is his end point. So now we're discussing how does he get there, right? How are we traveling from this location to this location? How are we doing it? Okay? And the answer to that, okay, and the first big secret of the chords that he's using will be just straight ninth chords. And what I mean by that is an E flat dominant chord. So E flat 7, add the 9, which would be the F, have a B flat on top, walk it down without moving the B flat, and half steps. And then when you get to this C, I want you to go back up to an E here. And then now you're at your B flat major 7 chord. So now I want you to listen to it and tell me if you hear it. See? So because I'm hearing that G in there. Okay, and then so that's how he's moving from the first E flat down to that B major 7. That's how he's moving from that. Let me play it again. Okay, now a lot of times I believe that he's defaulting to diminished chords also. But let me go on and see the next one. So let me just keep on going here. How about that one? Okay, so the next big secret. Okay, so we already said. Okay, so the first one is that he is using just straight ninth chords, and I want to show you something you can do with that in a second. The second secret that he's using for these passing tones, these are all of these for the. This is just nothing but a bunch of passing tones, right? It's kind of like giving someone no room to breathe because he's just making each chord a passing chord almost, and he's hitting his anchor chord, then he's just moving right off of it and going to the next one, right? So you get no kind of breathing room. So it's a tense part of the song in that sense, right? But when he gets to this part here, right, that part. Okay, so that part, what is he using there? Now, that's the part where I told you when he was going. That's the part where I said that melodic line is moving like this. But I think I said I start on the F. I think he starts on the F mostly. So let me see it again. I'm just going to do half steps. Make it easy. All right, so second big secret though, that's going to be minor 7 flat 5 voicings. And the third note is moved an octave up. Now, since I know I want to start on that F, what voicing would that be in order for me to have a minor 7 flat 5 third note being moved an octave up? Well, it would have to be a D minor 7 flat 5 because the D minor 7 is here, the flat 5 would be here, the third voicing here, which is the F, would be moved up here, and so would be the sound. Now, you got to understand, I'm not even playing a bass. And with the bass, it fattens it up even more. It makes the chords sound real fat. And by the way, in some of these sounds, I kind of changed a note or two because he was already coming out with those greens and stuff. But I wanted to add my own little hot sauce on it, so I added a couple notes here and there, so it can have some sauce on it. So you may hear that when you're doing the MIDI file. But at that point, I was just having some fun. But that's the voicing, the minor 7 flat 5, and all we do is we move them up half steps. Remember the anchor. Remember where he's getting to. He wants to get to that G flat. Remember what is a tone? And keep in mind, see, context helps. Context helps because the context tells us that we can use this anytime we're using this progression. Okay? That's what it tells me. Okay, let's go on. On this one, I believe he's just using I'm just gonna say he's using diminished walk downs there. Now, and I already told you, that I think that he was defaulting to diminished chords, mostly. But it's obvious that he's changing it up. So I'm not even using the diminished chord as one of the big secrets. We have 3. But I'm not using the diminished as one because obviously, a diminished, we like to use the diminished as passings, and that would have been an obvious answer, but it's not as obvious. So let's go back again. So we have the first one being that he's using ninth chords. The second one, he's using minor 7 flat 5 chords with the third note. The the third note is being moved up one octave. Okay, let's see what else we have here. There it is again. I want to see if he did anything different. There it is again. The same thing. But it's a different. He's not using the same voicing. He's not using the same voicing there. So what voicing is he using? He's using dominant seventh chords. But the way that they're voiced. Now let's look at this. We already know what note has to be on top. And on the organ, the tritones sound best if this E flat is moved down there. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the dominant chords. We're going to switch the F and the E flat, giving it this. But it's still a dominant. And I messed up in the one before the last, but who cares? Right? So here's the movement. Now listen to it. You heard that? Now someone's gonna say, man, isn't this close to the last one that you just did? Because that last one that last one was a minor 7 flat 5. So that would have been, this one is training your ear to hear the difference between those. You could probably imagine that would take some time, right? But I kind of wanting to look at the fact that it's interesting because all he did, the upper movement of the chord, the upper portion of that chord with the F and the perfect fourth that he's moving up in perfect fourths, when you get the MIDI file, you will notice that a lot of his movements with the left hand are going to be in fourths, but it's the right hand that's changing a little bit. And in one pattern, he can move this way, but in another one, he's just simply moving these down a half step and then doing the same thing, whereas the right hand isn't changing a thing. Right? Same thing here. When at that very first, at the beginning of the song, when he had the right here. See, and so another good idea that you can use, because I was saying that you have minor 9 chords, right? Holding that B flat. Yeah, no, I think I already said this before. No, I didn't. So basically, instead of doing it this way, we can take this F and move it up to an F sharp. Now, I want you to just move it up a half step. So check this out. I want you to listen to how it sounds and listen to the difference. Let me turn this on. So check this out. Here's the normal one. Because we know we got to end on that B major 7. But how about we take this up a half step, just a half step. Now check this. See how that sounds? Still sounds nice, and that's just moving one note. How about we did that? Now, and that's when you get into some really, really dissonant stuff. My point being that we don't always have to change, because it's not like he's using a different chord quality, every single movement. That's not really what he's doing. He's mostly, and when I say mostly, I'm saying for the majority of it, sticking with a chord type once he moves it down. He's kind of moving way too fast to have to change the chord quality each time. So if he's starting with a sharp 9, he's gonna keep that sharp 9 there. Chordy may not show it. See, it shows it for that one, but it will show it better if I move off the B. Then you can see that they're all sharp 9 chords. But the fact that we're holding the B, kind of hides that fact. And that's why it's best for me to just explain what we're doing. Okay. Okay, so is there anything else I need to go over with this thing here? Let me pause it and just make sure. So yeah, I like the development. I love the development of the melodic line and some of the chords that he was using, particularly from the, we examined from the E flat to the B major 7. But I think most of the chords that I examined were from the A flat 7 to the G chord. Of course, when you get the MIDI file, you'll be able to see kind of what he does with all of them. So you'll be able to see his melodic movements from more than just that one spot that I was taking. So if you're interested in getting that, as usual, we'll have something either pop on the screen or you can look in the description for that. Remember the development of language, okay? We are not just trying to copy people. Okay, and I'm ending now. We're not just trying to copy people. What you're trying to do is develop your own voicing. And on my Facebook page, that's what it says. That it seems ironic for me, who does MIDI files, which means that it's note for note. You see what I'm saying? So you would think that I would say note for note, but I'm actually the opposite. Yes, we start there. We start by memorizing the note for note. But what point is there if you just sound exactly like someone else? So the point of it is that we try to get that into our vocabulary. We try to bring some of the stuff into our vocabulary, right? So when you figure out a chord, then you got to practice that chord over and over until it becomes literally a part of your playing and something that you can pull from anywhere. And that's how we develop. That's how we develop the language in your own unique sound. And I want to encourage you that you can do that. It just takes the time. That's all it takes. It's the time and practice. Try it, knock it out, and when you get the results, you're pleasantly surprised. So thanks again for watching, and have a good week, and thank you again.